My want list for records is enormous, and I have a lot of records I would consider to be holy grails. You know, those records that you never see at the store, and if you do, they cost hundreds of dollars that you shouldn't, but sometimes spend. In this video, I want to talk about 5 more records that are my white whales that I am looking for day in, day out, at a good price. Hopefully one day I find them. I probably won't. I'm going to tell you why. So these are records that I've wanted for a very long time. They never pop up on discogs. You never see them at the store. And if you do, they're behind the back wall or up on the back wall for triple digits, sometimes even more, especially for one of these I'm going to talk about. But these are records that haven't had represses for God knows what reason. Maybe will never get represses for God knows what reason. I want them because I love the albums. So let me tell you what they are, and then I'd love to hear what your guys' are in the comments. First up is an album by Freelance Whales, Weathervanes. This is an indie pop, indie rock album that came out on French Kiss in the mid-2000s. They had one stellar debut. I mean, this album is soft and melodic and catchy in ways that a lot of indie pop was trying to be in that era and didn't quite live up to. They had a second album after that, Deluvia, that wasn't as good. In fact, I only listened to it once or twice. It just didn't capture the same magic the first did. Deluvia is super easy to find on vinyl. You can find that almost anywhere. Weathervanes, though? They've never repressed it. It had one pressing, sold out. It goes for over $100 now, easily, if it pops up. People don't want to give it up because it's a great album. I have tweeted at French Kiss so many times asking, hey, where's the repress? Never responded to me. I don't think they're big enough of a band to do an anniversary pressing. I mean, maybe they could, an anniversary of the album. But man, listen to this album and then feel sad just like me that you can't own it. The next 2 albums are diving into my love for grunge, as you guys know, and they were both recorded at the same place. Cool. The first one is Mad Season and the Seattle Symphony, Sonic Evolution. So Mad Season, I've talked about them before. It is a grunge supergroup. It was led by Lane Staley, the singer of Alice in Chains, featuring Mike McCready on guitar, Barrett Martin from Screaming Trees. It was just a really solid group. And even Mark Lonigan from Screaming Trees had some contributions to it. Lane Staley passed away, so there was only one real full-length album. But they still wanted to honor the band with some performances down the road. So there was one special night at Benaroya Hall in Seattle where Mike McCready and Barrett Martin organized the whole Seattle Symphony to perform with them. They had a whole bunch of guests come and perform with them on this album, including Mr. Chris Cornell, who filled in for Lane Staley. If you're gonna have someone fill in for Lane, that's a pretty damn good pick. Matt Cameron came in to drum. Then Duff, the Guns N' Roses bassist, came in as well. That is a live supergroup, and I would have killed to be at that show. In addition to the Mad Season songs, pretty much the whole lineup of Temple of the Dog was there too. So Jeff Ament and Stone Gossard were in attendance and came on stage, and they did a couple Temple of the Dog songs too. Since I couldn't have been there, I'll just buy it on vinyl, right? Wrong. You can't get this on vinyl for less than $150, even $200. There was a pressing through Pearl Jam's 10 Club on red and black splatter vinyl. You can't find that anywhere. And there was a second pressing on purple vinyl. You also can't find that. I've never even seen this in person, never seen it for sale. I would love to own it, but even on discogs, there's no sales record of it. So I don't know if I'm ever going to own it. I think the people that have it, and it's just like that, unless they decide to repress it. What a legendary night, though. I would have died to be there. Benaroya Hall is legendary for many reasons. So that performance was in 2015, but let's backtrack to 2003. That's when Pearl Jam decided to do their legendary Live at Benaroya Hall show, where they performed an entire set acoustically. Pearl Jam's a band that's known for rocking out hard, loud, powerful music, but the simplicity of acoustic music with Eddie Vedder's powerful voice is not to be reckoned with. This performance is available digitally, you can hear songs here and there, but there was a genuine vinyl pressing of it. It came on a 4-disc box set on red vinyl, the box was red, sold only through the 10 Club, sold out instantaneously. This is before I even started collecting records, I believe, or maybe right when I got into it and didn't really appreciate Pearl Jam in the way I do right now. Guess how much that box goes for now? You can't guess because this isn't live. But if you were here, you would say, I don't know, $200? You'd be wrong. This goes for over $1,000 every time it sells, often as high as $2,000. I know that sounds crazy, but there's only 2,000 numbered copies, and Pearl Jam fans are psychotic, myself included. So I would love a repress of this. I feel like the people that own the original would hate a repress of this, but one day I will acquire this. This could be my holiest of grails. So if you guys are wondering what to get me for Christmas, I mean, you can probably just get me this. It'd be pretty cool. Let's jump over to hip hop. The label Daupe, D-A-U-P-E exclamation mark. They are putting out a ton of hip-hop releases in extremely limited quantities, very collector's market-esque, because these get bought up instantly and you'll find them the next day right on eBay and discogs. There's a collective of artists they work with, Westside Gunn, Conway, people in that clique, mostly Westside Gunn. He's kind of the leader of the bunch from what I can tell. I don't know if it's his label or if he just works closely with Daupe, but I have been wanting stuff from Daupe for a very long time, and I've only recently been lucky enough to grab some of their drops because I'm really on top of it the second it's up, because literally 30 seconds after the drop, everything's gone. The first big Daupe release was FLYGOD, which is an album by Westside Gunn. This is such a good hip-hop album, featuring my boy Action Bronson, as well as a bunch of really other good hip-hop tracks on a great underrated full length that I need to have in my collection. It's just a shame that you can't find it anymore for under $400. That's right. There's a version that has an Obi strip on the side that's limited to 25 that goes for over $600. Yes, for a new album that came out recently from an artist you've probably never heard of. Crazy. But even the original, there was only a couple hundred copies of it, and I almost had a copy because I emailed the label when it came out and I was like, listen, I just missed the drop for this. Do you have any extra copies? I will buy it. Please help me out. And they were like, yeah, we'll see what we can do. They got back to me a week later and said, you know what, we don't have any extra copies because everyone realized how much these were selling for and we had to send replacements to everyone who's got lost. So they were a good label and they decided to, you know, honor all these people whose packages got lost. And all of them are now on eBay, so I will never own it. One of the best music films of all time is Almost Famous. It's kind of hard to dispute that. And the soundtrack for it is so good, full of bands from the 60s and 70s. If you want the soundtrack on vinyl, there is a pressing with Penny Lane's face on the cover, but there's another pressing that's the collector's edition and have 2,500 copies, and that's the one I'm after. At the end of the soundtrack, it comes with 6 songs from the band in the film, Stillwater, which is really cool, because some of those songs were actually really good. Of those 2,500 copies, 500 copies have assorted memorabilia from the film. Like, I think from the film's set. 25 of those copies are autographed by Cameron Crowe. I've seen it for sale $200-300 on rare record walls. Never had the moxie to plunk down $200 for it. I'm really hoping for a solid repress anniversary. Do something for me. But I might give in at some point because that movie is absolutely iconic and I need to have that soundtrack. So those are 5 more records that I probably will never own unless I decide to be financially irresponsible, which very well may happen. I want to know what records you need to own that you haven't been able to find. Tell me everything. I'll add them to my want list if they look cool, and you will help me suffer. I've been pretty down on myself this video about never getting these records, and I gotta say, on a positive note, I have many other terrific records in this room to listen to until I do stumble upon those holy grails. So, all's well that ends well. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe. More videos very soon.